Welcome to the VHDL Design and Modeling of Digital Systems course, Loop Statements. A loop statement is similar to a for loop in C. The syntax for all for loops is shown here. We have the typical optional label at the beginning, and we can have one of two types of statements before the loop keyword, which is we could say while Boolean expression loop, or we can say while identifier in discrete range loop. After the loop statement, we have our sequential one or more sequential statements followed by the end loop. Also, we could have optionally no while or for loop. Now, the identifier in the for loop does not necessarily have to, or it doesn't have to be defined previously as any sort of data type. It's taken basically to be a universal integer. Here's three examples of the loop statement. The first one is loop do this forever end loop, and it does exactly as it shows, which is it will execute that loop forever. The second example here is while condition, while this is true loop, and we execute do this for a while, which is a procedure or subprogram defined somewhere else. Or we could say for identifier range, where we say here the example shows for bottles of beer on the wall in 0 or 99 down to 1, we loop and we execute two procedures. We take one down, and the second procedure is pass it around. VHDL provides for two loop termination statements, the exit statement and next statement. The first loop termination statement is the exit statement. This will cause the current loop execution to be exited when the option is true. This might be useful when a search is completed. The syntax for the exit statement is an optional label, the exit keyword, and then exit optional loop label when condition. Now notice that the when condition is also optional. Here's an example of the exit statement in a loop. This loop will loop forever. Clock is assigned with 0. We wait for 25 nanoseconds. Then clock is assigned to 1. And we'll exit this loop when now it exceeds the maximum or the max runtime. The other loop termination statement is the next statement. The next statement will cause the current loop iteration to be terminated and continue with the next loop iteration, if any. The syntax would be next, followed by optional loop label, followed by when Boolean expression. So when Boolean expression is true, then we terminate the current iteration, and we go to the next iteration, if any. Here's an example of the next statement. The for loop for index 1 to top count loop. We check to see if up count at that index is not equal to down count. Then we go on to next, which is another way of saying if they are equal, then we continue on, and then we increment total by up count.